Hey friends, I'm Rachna and I'm back with a new lesson. Well, last week I was just going through a blog and I read this line. Over the past few years, there have been a growing number of both peaceful and violent protests. And what amazed me is that below this line, there were a lot of comments. Some people felt the line should have been, there has been. A lot of confusion, a lot of comments, and some people said no, there have been is fine. So I thought I'll take up this as a lesson today where we are going to learn two common expressions, a number of and the number of. So I'll be right back to explain you the difference between these two expressions. So welcome back. Let's take a look at the first expression, a number of. What does a number of mean? A number of means many or a lot of or lots of. Now, people generally get confused because number is a singular noun. But this expression, a number of, is a quantifier just like many, a lot of and lots of. Now let's take a look at some examples and see how we can use a number of just like we use many, a lot of and lots of. In my first example, many cars are on the freeway during the rush hour. So many cars means more than one. So if I replace this with the common expression, a number of cars, it means more than one car. So a number of cars are on the freeway during the rush hour. Because number is a singular noun, people get confused and put this are as is because a number is generally considered as singular. But friends, again, a number of is a common expression that is a quantifier just like many, a lot of, lots of, that indicates something that is more than one. Let's take a look at the second example. A lot of doctors were present at the conference last year. Again, a lot of means more than one. Replacing it with the common expression, a number of. So, a number of doctors were present and not was present. Similarly, the third example, many people have started being health conscious. So, a number of people, that means a lot of people. A number of people have started and not has. So, do remember that even though number is a singular noun, it is a quantifier that says more than one. So, a number of takes the plural verb or it is followed by a plural verb and not a singular verb. So here in my three examples, a number of cars are and not is. In the second example, a number of doctors were and not was. Similarly, in the third example, a number of people have and not has. So I hope the first expression, a number of, is clear to you and I'm sure now you will use it correctly. Let's take a look at the second expression, the number of. So now let's take a look at the second expression, the number of. Now what does this expression mean? Does it mean many? Of course not. The number of is not a quantifier. It is just a single number. Now this expression is used when you want to bring about a comparison between two numbers or two amounts. For example, the number of crimes has increased this year. Now probably last year there were 100 crimes and this year there are 150 crimes. So there has been an increase and there are 50 more crimes. Now people often get confused and put have here because they feel, okay, the number of crimes have, but the number of is a single number and is followed by a singular verb. In the next example, the number of doctors at the conference is larger than last year. The number of doctors at the conference is larger because we're talking about a single number. So probably 20 more doctors this year. You will not say the number of doctors at the present are larger. Always remember the common expression, the number of takes a singular verb and not a plural verb. Let's take a look at the last example. The number of iPads that the Apple Corporation sold is lesser than last quarter. So the number of iPads that Apple Corporation sold is lesser and not are lesser. Well, probably because of a lot of competition from Samsung, LG, Micromax. So the number of is and not are. Basically, people often get confused and use plural verbs with this expression. So friends, remember the number of is always followed by a singular verb, and we use this expression to compare two numbers or two amounts. Okay, so here we have the number of. Let's take a quick recap and see how these two expressions differ from each other. So let's go through the differences between these two expressions, a number of and the number of. A number of means many, lots of, or a lot of. The number of is nothing but when you talk about a single number. The first difference. The second difference, a number of is a quantifier. The number of is not a quantifier. The third difference, a number of indicates many, so it takes the plural verb or is followed by a plural verb. The number of is a single number and so it takes a singular verb. We use the expression a number of when you want to say something that is more than one. And we use this expression, the number of, when you want to compare two numbers or two amounts. Okay, so now let's take a look at the sentence that we started our lesson with. Over the past few years, there has been a growing number of both peaceful and violent protests. Here was the confusion where there were a lot of comments on the blog in my classroom. So now you're going to tell me whether it is have or has. Well, the common expression, a growing number of. So here we are talking about more than one, that means many, and a growing number of will always take the plural verb, as we have seen the difference here. So the original sentence that I read on the blog was correct. The correct sentence is, over the past few years there have been and not has been a growing number of both peaceful and violent protest. So friends, remember, when you use a growing number of, you say have or are. And when you use the common expression the number of, you will use a singular verb. For example, was or have, has. So I hope this is clear to you now, and this brings me to the end of this lesson. I hope you find this lesson useful. Please do put in your comments and queries if any, and I'm going to be back very soon. Thank you and take care. Bye.